Centipede Smith in The Mystery of the Midnight Muskrat. Centipede Smith called himself a sadomasochistic anarchist, but most people just called him an asshole. Like his mother. "Centipede, you asshole," she called. "Get your ass in here." Centipede slithered across the stains in the carpet and steadied himself against the breakfast table, blinking rapidly. It was too early for him to be alert. "When I woke up this morning, there were 3 testicles in here," his mother said, pointing to the cookie jar. "Guess how many there were last night when I went to bed, you son of a bitch." Shit, said Centipede. "Beats the shit out of me." "I'll tell you how many goddamn testicles were in there last night before I went to bed," Centipede's mother said. "There were 4 in there. 2 pairs. Yours and your father's." "I bet it was that fucking piece of shit Muskrat that comes in here every night," Centipede said. "He's a fucking asshole." He blinked. "Suck a dick, son," his mother said. "You're grounded." "I'm serious," Centipede said. "That dick-sucking muskrat creeps in after dark and won't go away and won't stop yammering on about his relatives until I've reached my nightly level of feverish insanity where I can't sleep, I can't speak, I can't do anything but dart my eyes back and forth while gritting my teeth and sweating under my blankets." "Suck a dick, son," his mother said. "You're grounded for 2 weeks for eating either your father's or your own testicle." "But that's the thing, Mom." Centipede blinked rapidly. "Those aren't my testicles." "What how?" his mother shouted, and pushed him back against the breakfast table. She pulled down his cut-off sweatpants and glared in dismay at his intact nards. "What how?" his mother said. "See, that's why the muskrat torments me nightly," Centipede said sheepishly. "He no longer has nuts with which to love his wife, so he devotes his time to tormenting me in the dark." Centipede's mother kicked him in the nuts, picked up 2 butter knives, and stabbed herself in the eyes. That night, Centipede hid under the breakfast table. He watched the back door, which was only a screen door with a latch that was rickety enough for a muskrat to open from the outside. Centipede saw biscuit crumbs around the base of the table leg nearest him. He saw some drops of dried blood on the floor 5.5 feet beneath where his mother had stabbed her eyes 15 hours earlier. Centipede's eyes focused on the screen door. The porch light was on, and the mesh looked like it was wavering. Centipede wished he was a dancer, like the girl of his dreams. They could perform together. He would catch her and spin around, setting her down so gracefully he wouldn't be able to believe it himself. He would have a full, tender scrotum hugged in his tights. His parents would be in the second row, their shriveled, blackened genitals drooping uselessly between their thighs as they applauded along with the rest of the crowd, which was mostly made up of immense penises in tuxedos, clapping their gloved hands and adjusting their monocles. Centipede heard his enemy approaching on the porch, and then he saw the rodent, silhouetted against the blazing light behind the mesh. "Centipede, you asshole," the muskrat called. "My Aunt Myrtle broke her hip, and pus keeps dripping out of her pussy." The muskrat did not see Centipede under the table. It rattled the door open and crawled inside Centipede's house. It scraped across the kitchen floor and rustled down the hallway to Centipede's bedroom, where it assumed he was trying to sleep. Centipede looked at his hands, wondering how hard it would be to choke a muskrat to death. He'd never strangled anything before. He worried he'd make a fool of himself. The door to his mother's room snapped open, and she emerged, pulling the butter knives from her pierced eyeballs. She had been sleeping all day since she had discovered her son had testicles still. She was naked, and her pale skin sparkled in a narrow moonbeam for a moment as she turned and walked towards Centipede's room. The light came on, and the door slammed behind his naked mother's outline, and Centipede curled up under the table, staying hidden, trying to look across the kitchen, down the hall, and under the door to his bedroom. He heard high-pitched screams and saw rapid shadows moving along the doorframe. Centipede blinked rapidly. He bit into his wrist. He moaned. Centipede heard a story coming from behind the door. My Aunt Myrtle keeps eating lots of pineapple and graham crackers because that's supposed to help, but actually, she looked it up and it turns out pineapples and graham crackers just aggravate the condition. But then she said it might have helped after all because of the placebo effect, because my Aunt Myrtle, she's very susceptible to that. Centipede thought it was the muskrat at first, but realized it was his mother's voice speaking. The next morning, Centipede woke up under the table, hot biscuits already coming out of the oven. He saw his mother, perfectly aligned and perfectly dressed, her hair brushed back and pinned, her skirt completely straight. Time for breakfast, Centipede, she smiled. Centipede ate his biscuits. Despite the half-inch of grape jelly on top, Centipede still detected a strange aftertaste in his mother's cooking. He thought he noticed a strange change in her demeanor as well, but he wasn't sure. Her eyes were completely healed, apparently, and, Centipede thought, looked a little friendlier than usual. Her two front teeth sure looked bigger than usual. She watched Centipede as he ate her biscuits, covered with butter and grape jelly. She beamed.